From New York, it's That Kevin Show.
See, I knew it.
Come on, Kev. What's a few classified documents between friends?
I told you all the time. I knew it. I knew he had some too.
Here he is, That Kevin McCullough.
My next guest needs no introduction if you run in the legal circles in the world's greatest city here in New York. But if you're in some of the other places across the country, you may remember him from Fox News for a long time as one of their top legal analysts and contributors. And he has now joined the colleague ranks of talk radio's finest here in the world's greatest city as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Arthur Aidala, Esquire. Hello, sir.
What's going on? How are you, sir?
I'm doing quite well. I have a quick question up front. How come we don't refer to the Esquire in formal society like we used to? There was a time and place where that ESQ was always written after people's names, kind of like MD or PhD. Have we lost some respect for what great guardians of the law represent in our society today?
Maybe, maybe we have, and maybe it's deservingly so. There's good and bad in every profession, whether it's the plumber or the auto mechanic or the doctor or the lawyer. But lawyers have done a pretty good job of sullying our own reputation. Some of it is just the nature of the beast. You have to be an advocate and you have to fight hard. And sometimes when you're fighting hard, it gets a little ugly. But others it because it has to do with greed, have to do with ego, have to do with publicity. So you know what? If the stature of the lawyer has been diminished, I only blame the lawyers.
Arthur, you're at least second, I think maybe third generation attorney in your family. What role has the law played in the generations of Aidalas? Where did that thirst for truth and justice begin? And do you hopefully see one of your sons someday carrying the mantle?
Well, that's a great question, Kevin. Yes, my mother's father was a lawyer when Italian Americans were not lawyers here in the city of New York. And then my dad went on to become a lawyer as well, the first in his family to graduate high school, college, and then on to law school. I had a little bit of a different path, Kevin. I wanted to be a thespian. I was in high school, my senior year. They put on the show The Music Man just so I could be Harold Hill, the Music Man. And before that, I was in West Side Story, Oklahoma, Guys and Dolls. And I went to acting college. I went to SUNY, the State University of New York at Purchase, where Edie Falco, Stanley Tucci, Wesley Snipes, amongst others, Parker Posey, I keep going on, graduated from. But I really wasn't that into, there's a phrase when you're an actor, you have to know how to say would you like mashed potatoes, rice, or French fries with your order? Because every time you want to be an actor, you have to be a waiter or a waitress at some point along the way. So when I was graduating college, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? And I'm not going to do that. And also, the world of acting is so competitive, viciously competitive. And I just wasn't feeling it. And I said, you know what, let me try this LSAT thing. It would be naive to say my grandfather, who I knew until I was 13 years old and saw him in his capacity as a lawyer, and then obviously living in a household with a really brilliant trial attorney in my father, to say that didn't rub off through osmosis would be naive. And then I went to law school and became a prosecutor, able to try cases. And really, Kevin, that scratched the itch of being a performer, because when you're doing a trial, basically I'm the writer, the producer, and the director of the show, and it's very satisfying. All in one person. And I've been told that I put on a pretty good performance in front of those 12 jurors.
Well, I was going to ask you if that scratches the itch, because there's obviously, in terms of being in front of an audience, which a jury is, and I would imagine that the acting skills are helpful.
Absolutely, 100%, because now more than ever, Kevin, you have to do everything you just said in an entertaining way. Think about it. Everyone who's watching right now, think about it. When was the last time you went 3 hours without having a phone in your hand, without having a device in front of you, a laptop, a television, your iPad, whatever it is. Because when you do jury duty, that's all taken away from you when you're in the courtroom. You can't go down and go look at your text. You can't check with the local newspaper. You have to be focused on the people in front of you. And Kevin, now more than ever, the people in front of you, if the people I'm in front of, if I want to keep their attention, I have to entertain them. I have to raise my voice high and then sometimes lean in and whisper really quietly and give them different stories and different narratives to keep that attention that we have all now learned to like focus on that little phone in front of us and back onto the big screen. Yeah. So it really does satisfy my desire to engage with my fellow human beings, and I'm doing so in a way that I feel is making a difference.
We're speaking with New York's #1 criminal defense attorney and the leader of the ABK law firm, probably New York's most prestigious criminal defense firm. And when big time lawyers need a lawyer, they turn to Arthur and his team at ABK, who I've had a chance to get to know a little bit behind the scenes. I work with not only you, Arthur, but some of your partners in media as well. And I got to tell you, you've assembled an all-star crew that are just wonderful to work with. We have a couple of minutes before our first break. I want to ask you kind of a curveball here. Courtroom drama has been one of the most filmed, documented, dramatized bit of content for movies and films and TV since the beginning of the era. I mean, you go way back, and you've always done murder mysteries and trials and so forth. What's your favorite dramatized movie or film or TV show about the courtroom?
A Time to Kill.
And why?
Time to Kill with Matthew McConaughey. His closing argument is really, really, really fantastic. And, before I give, not so much anymore, but rewind 10, 12 years ago when I was a little younger, and I had to give a big closing argument, I would go online and watch not the whole thing, but just the trial scenes and Justice for All, A Few Good Men, actually my cousin Vinny, believe it or not, has excellent cross-examination.
That was when you were doing New Jersey trial dates. That was the cousin Vinny.
Yeah, but I will tell you, the cross-examination in that is very good. It's very effective and it's very real. And then of all of them, though, in my opinion, the closing argument in A Few Good Men is so powerful. It's so deliberate. And
okay, 30 seconds. Have you ever gotten someone to walk across the line the way the Cruz character does with Nicholas in that scene?
No, I have not. But there's been plenty of drama in the courtroom, from as a prosecutor, a defendant trying to jump over the rail and choke me, to as a defense attorney, getting a verdict that brought me to tears because I knew it was the right verdict, but I was afraid it was going to be the wrong verdict. So there's been a lot of real estate between those two moments that we could talk about.
Well, we're talking with New York's #1 criminal defense guy and his entire team at ABK Law. Wonderful people. Coming right back with Arthur Aidala from New York.
Stick around for more of That Kevin. Next, That Kevin Show with Kevin McCullough.